Hey everyone, Cat Goblin and Martin here. Now, Super Mario Galaxy has got to be the best 3D platformer that I have ever played. There's a ton of cool galaxies and enemies. What could possibly match this game, or be way better? Well, introducing A Hat in Time, a 3D platformer that gives off the same vibes as Mario Galaxy, and so much more. And today, I'll be talking about every single enemy in the game, including the ones in the DLC levels. So as always, let's jump right into the review. Some important things to note about most of these enemies is that they all do about 1 damage. When some enemies notice you, an exclamation mark will pop up. Some can drop pawns upon death, and Mafia Goons can drop hearts. Defeating them is also pretty easy because you have your trusty umbrella or your homing attack, although there are some enemies that are invincible. The first enemies in the game are the Mafia Goons, and boy, these guys are pretty funny to say the least. You mainly find them in Mafia Town, but they also appear on a small ship in Bon Voyage, and are seen in the following Death Wishes and Time Rifts. The Goons only have 4 HP, except for the ones in Barrel Battle, they have slightly more health. For attacks, they'll punch or dive towards you, and if you repeatedly whack them 3 times, they get mad with Fiery Rage, which makes them block your umbrella, so you'll have to use a homing attack. Some of them can wear hard or sailor hats, and the ones that throw cans at you only have 1 HP. Thankfully, the cans don't hurt you. And down with the Mafia, you get ambushed by these 2 Royal Guard goons. I'm not sure if it's the lighting, but it looks like they wear a dark maroon colored suit. Note that the goons will only attack you if you strike first, but in other places they're more aggressive. The goons even run away in fear when you're in the mud monster. Some other Mafia guys that you can't really defeat are the guy that trips you and the guy that smacks you after playing a game of patty cake with him. Like you have your hand up, wouldn't leave a dude hanging. Though the Mafia Goons are bad, you can interact with a lot of them, and some that hang around can't be harmed. So next are the Mad Crows, small birds that really hate you for some odd reason. You encounter them in Mafia Town, Alpine Skyline, the Finale, Nyakuzu Metro, and the following Time Rifts. These angry crows chase you by hopping. They're not really that menacing as you can instantly one-hit KO them. The Sleepy Racoon. Weird how it's an enemy. The Racoon snot bubble makes it float in the air. Even though it's sleeping, it will follow you. Once you're under its shadow, the bubble will burst, making the Racoon fall on top of you, dealing damage. And then the Racoon goes back to sleep, blowing another huge snot bubble. Not too difficult to handle, and you mainly see them in Mafia Town, Alpine Skyline, the Finale, and in these Time Rifts. On to Deadbird Studio, and we've got some moon penguins and express owls, as well as some movie cameras. While sneaking around the studio, you'll have to avoid these guys at all costs. The penguins and owls move in a set path, and as you can see, the red light is their line of sight, and they have a suspicion meter followed by a question mark that turns yellow. If you get spotted or try to attack them, you'll take damage and will be sent back to the last checkpoint. You also get charged for harassment, but anyways, the cameras on the other hand remain still. DJ grooves and the conductor are also birds you have to avoid, as bothering them too much will make them angry. The Owl Guards later appear in Murder on the Owl Express and the Dead Bird Studios Time Rift, and cameras are found in these levels. The Caw Agents in Murder on the Owl Express act just like the penguins and owls at the studio, though at the start they come over and ask you some very personal questions, which they do end up saying. With crows having a conversation, you just have to wait for them to laugh and then you can sneak past them. They also appear in the tour rift, and a murder of crows chatting are found in the studio's basement. Picture Perfect has the UFO. It acts just like the Sleepy Racoon, where it hovers towards you and then drops down. Super easy to defeat. The prop can also be found in these Death Wish challenges. We of course can't forget about the band owls, only touring in the Big Parade, Moon Rift, and the Battle of the Birds boss battle. In these acts, you're selected as the marching band leader, and the owls will follow your every move, matching your speed. Not even your sprint or time stop hack can stop them, as they'll easily catch up to you. If the band owls bump into you, you take damage and get pushed away. As long as you're moving, you'll be good. In Battle of the Birds, when the conductor or DJ Grooves summons them, they chase you with the rubber knife used on the Owl Express. Never really paid attention to them, but those firework rockets at the big parade double as an enemy. The rockets, which can be colored blue, orange, or pink, home in on you just like a bullet bill in the 3D Mario games, and upon impact they explode. They're also used in these Death Wish challenges. Subcon Forest and Alpine Skyline are home to some pretty big spiders. After reaching a certain distance, the spider drops down while still hanging on its strand of silk. If you bump into it, it will spin its legs to knock you back. They only have 1 HP. They're mainly used as stepping stones. Some do respawn, and you can see their silk before they drop. The spiders are seen in these rifts and Death Wishes as well. Probably the scariest enemy in the whole game has to be those Headless Statues. If you go near them or try to whack them, they'll get off their spot and will relentlessly chase you. The scary factor is that they're invincible, and faster than you, but once you get away from them, they return back to their post. You'll find them around Subcon Forest and the front entrance to Queen Vanessa's mansion. Forget the statues being scary, Queen Vanessa is 10 times scarier. The lonely queen patrols around the hallways of her mansion, and you have to constantly hide from her. When you're near her presence, the screen goes all funny and the music gets intense. Oh, and when she sees you, she'll chase you at full speed. If you're too slow, Queen Vanessa will capture you, causing an instant death. She's like a combination of the neighbor, Granny, and 5V. Once you reach the Alpine skyline, you'll encounter the goats, passive and invincible creatures that go about their day acting as an obstacle. If you stand in the middle of their path, they'll swat you away, which could potentially send you off the mountain. After, when you get a timepiece, these strange flowers float up to the goats' noses. Then, and the illnesses spread, the passive goats become aggressive. This time they'll chase you, and one swat can send you way back. Luckily, destroying the main flower calms them down in the end. These passive goats also appear in the finale and Twilight Bell Rift. The fiercest gang on the planet is the Lazy Paw Gang, cat bandits that are quick and rely on stealth. These cats here are the Orange Paw members. They are invisible. Once in range, they'll sneak up on you and steal your hat, a timepiece shard, or a single pawn, and will go back to being invisible. You can actually kind of see them. They have 1 HP, and they can only be defeated once they reappear. Also, after they're done stealing from you, they'll just scratch you to do damage. You can find them in Alpine Skyline, the finale, Nyakuza Metro, and in these following time rifts. Alpine Skyline's birdhouse features 2 dangerous enemies, the Shromb eggs and the Pompous crow. Once you're close, the Shromb eggs ignite, emitting a ticking noise, and will chase you. If it collides into you, or after a certain amount of time, it explodes. The red circle under it is its blast radius, which you don't really want to be in. Picture this egg as a creeper, but faster. Pompous crows are mad crows with a pompadour, sporting some shutter shades. When you're in their territory, they'll bump you off ledges. Luckily, it's easy to take out. This crow can actually bump a Shromb egg towards you. The eggs also appear at the windmill and Alpine Skyline's time rift, while the Pompous crow appears around Alpine Skyline, the finale, and in these rifts. Fire Mad Crows are found in Alpine Skyline's Lava Cake, the finale, and in these two time rifts. It's the same ordinary Mad Crow, but it's on fire, and because of that you can't one-shot them with your homing attack, so the umbrella is your best and quickest option against them. Next are Dweller Mad Crows and Sleepy Raccoons. They are the same ordinary enemies, but are transparent, showing a green color. They can hurt you, but you can't hurt them in this current state. Well, you can if you use the Dweller Mask. Just like with platforms, the mask can be used to see them. The Spider and Pompous Crow also have Dweller versions, and the mask isn't required on them, so defeating them is still the same as before. The Red Spider and Green Pompous Crow appear together in the Twilight Travel's Death Wish Rift. We already talked about how the Express Owls act as the studio security on the Owl side, but they also appear as a standalone enemy in the finale and in the following time rifts. The Owl will rush towards you, through a clipboard, and will then jump back for safety. The reason for them attacking you is that they're paranoid and will stop at nothing to get your back of the line ticket. Thankfully, they've only got 1 HP. I kinda feel bad for attacking them, I mean they're only scared. So next we got the Shock Squid, located in the Sleepy Subcon Rift, Bon Voyage, and the Deep Sea Rift. The squid walks around an area, and as the name implies, it has a shocking move. It creates a shockwave ring they have to avoid. Thankfully, 1 hit is all you need to take it down. Our last few enemies hang out at the Nyakuza Metro Station. Might as well talk about the Rumbis first. The Defective Rumbis are at the Rumbi Factory Time Rift. They act just like a Shromb egg, so avoid their blast. And we of course have the Orange Cat Rumbi, cleaning parts of the Metro. This Rumbi acts as a trampoline to reach high areas, but to lure it you have to get money, which makes it chase you, and it even cleans you after launch. They're basically those Roomba vacuum cleaners. I remember being fascinated over those as a kid. Good times. I decided to talk about the rats near the end because in each level they appear in, they have different behaviors. In the Mafia HQ, the rats are passive and will run along the beams up top. In Mafia of Coke's Time Rift, they sorta just stand in place and wait for you to attack them. And then in Nyakuza Metro, they chase you. Not very difficult, and the mold on their back makes it so they can't use your homing attack or jump on them. The pink or purple Lazy Paw members only live in the Metro. Unlike the orange paw members, they can't turn invisible. It takes 3 hits to defeat them, and they prefer to scratch you from the sides. The Metro Cats with the small white masks on fight you during the rush hour. For attacks, they'll leap and scratch you. The cats are invincible, so fighting back won't work. Your only option is to avoid them as much as possible, but when you first arrive to the Nyakuza Metro, you can whack that cowardly cat 3 times to get your timepiece, only for it to be stolen in the end.
Are you running from me?
The final enemy in the game is the Empress, and yes, she is kind of a boss in Rush Hour, which I'll talk about in a later review. Anyways, you can visit her shop and have a nice conversation with her, but if you try to whack her with your umbrella, she'll scratch you, which is an instant kill. So whatever you do, do not give her a taste of her own medicine. By the end of the game, all those enemies that you have encountered in the main story help you in the end by sacrificing themselves to give you pawns, so that you can defeat Mustache Girl. Pretty cool ending, but anyways, that pretty much wraps up today's review. Hope you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.